welcome back to my kitchen. My name's Vicki-Lynne. If you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you are one of my friends who've already been here, thank you so much for coming back. I know you've seen the thumbnail to this, and that's why you're here, because we're here to make vegan crab cakes. That is right. So as a child, my family is from the East Coast, from Nova Scotia, and my childhood memories are running the beaches with my cousins, eating quahogs and lobsters and all those things. But as vegans, we don't do that. So we're going to make vegan crab cakes. And I'm also going to show you in the weeks to come how to morph these into other delicious and savory dishes. So let's get in the kitchen and make these delicious vegan crab cakes that are so, as always, quick and delicious. Now don't forget, hit that subscribe button and give this a big thumbs up. Let's hit the kitchen. Now you're saying to yourself, Vicki-Lynne, how can we have crab cakes when we don't eat seafood? So part of my journey was I was a vegetarian for many, many years. Well, let me recap that. I actually didn't eat a lot of dairy or a lot of eggs for many, many years. It was very hit or miss. So I was more of a vegan, but I still had a little bit of seafood here and there, so not really a vegan. I was my own. Everybody has their own journeys, and seafood and fish was really the last thing that I gave up. So I kind of had already given up, for the most part, eggs and cheese and all that, but the seafood was the last thing that I gave up because it seemed to be the hardest thing for me to give up. So this is a recipe that we're going to make ours, crab cakes, out of jackfruit. And you want the ones that are in brine. You don't want the ones that are ripe. You want the unripened jackfruit. And again, as you all know, I get mine from Trader Joe's. You can get them online, super simple. And we're going to make ours out of heart of palm. Another easy product to find. They come in a can. They look like this. And they will mimic that crab-like texture. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just take about half of an onion. I'm going to use my reusable bag. I normally have a little onion keeper. I just can't find it. Probably has an onion in it already. I'm going to add this because I'm lazy today. You want this chopped up fine. So I'm actually going to put that in the food processor. And I'm going to take a couple of celery. So normally the recipe would call for one celery stalk, very well chopped. But my husband is, if you've watched some of my other videos, a celery fiend. So we're going to do two. But you do you. And again, recipe is going to be down below. So don't be fretting about any of the measurements or anything while we're doing this. Just going to pull. Would really help if I plug this in, would it not? And again, if you're new, this is me. There's always something going on in my kitchen. And if you've been here before, you always know I forget to do something because that's just me. Life is not perfect, guys. I'm not Instagram perfect. My food doesn't always look Instagram worthy. I'm just a real person doing real stuff. I never pretend to be perfect, so nobody should. Okay, here we go. We're just gonna mince this. And that just saved me, I don't know how much time and no crying involved. So let me just make sure, I just want to make sure those are nice and finely chopped so that they're just perfect in our crab cake. Perfect. So we're just going to take that out and we're going to throw it in our bowl. So let me move our bowl in front and center so you can see it. All right. So now we have our onions and our celery chopped. So we are going to use a couple of unique ingredients that you may not have used before as a vegan. So you might, I don't know if you've heard of heart of palms. You can also make this recipe with garbanzo beans or chickpeas if you want. There are a few different things that you can mix up with this. So we have our, and now we're going to actually take our heart of palms and put them into our food processor. Should drain those a little bit better. There we go. I'm just going to give those a rough chop in half. Yeah, there we go. super simple. And then our jackfruit. So we just want to go through the jackfruit and just make sure there's just no seeds. I mean, really, the food processor is going to take it. So this is tender jackfruit, and it's young jackfruit. So again, like I said, it's not the sweet jackfruit. The sweet jackfruit is not what we want. So this mimics, it can mimic chicken, it can mimic pork. And again, I have some recipes I will attach here so you can try them out. For like pulled pork sandwiches, you can use it for like chicken salad. Oh my goodness, you can use this for almost anything. I love jackfruit. Jackfruit, see, I have a seed here, so I'm just going to take that out just because it'll just give it a better texture. There we go. Saw another seed there. Try to leave some of the juice out. You may need to use a little extra. Again, real life. And then the special ingredient we're using today is going to be kelp granules. You could use kelp granules, dulse. These are all seaweed, sea nutrients. So growing up, so I grew up in Ontario, but my parents were from Nova Scotia, and we would go down every summer. And a lot of things that people would do down there is gather dulse off the beaches and dry them. And they would eat them, and that was like a big thing that everybody really enjoyed doing. My mother absolutely loved dulse. So I'm actually using kelp, which is similar. I got mine off of Amazon. I'll link it down below, guys. Super simple. It just kind of gives you that like sea kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It gives you that seafoody kind of flavor. So we're just going to add a couple of teaspoons of that, and then we're going to break up our around. I don't have the best food processor, and I may have had a little bit too much liquid in here, so I may have to add some breadcrumbs at the beginning. And I'm actually going to do this recipe 2 different ways. You could actually do it 3. You could bake these in the oven. I'm going to do them in the air fryer, and I'm going to do them on a pan. So you can do them any way you want. But I'll show you what they look like from the air fryer and from a pan. Just trying to get a few of those big chunks. We don't want it to be too, we want it to still have some texture, but we do want big chunks. I'm still saving up for my Vitamix food processor. Okay, so that should be good enough. It actually smells like crab, guys. I love this recipe. This is just so cool. Okay, so we're going to add our crab mix. Our faux crab mix. Okay. There we go. And as you can see, it's just like a crab cake mix. Add the rest of the ingredients at this point, and then the other thing we're going to use as a binder is we're going to use a flax egg. So I already made a flax egg, but because I have a lot of, it's still a little bit of water, I should have drained my hearts of palm and everything. So I made a little flax egg, and we're just using ground flaxseed, and it's 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed and 2 to 3 tablespoons of water. Just let it sit. I use 3 tablespoons of water. You're probably better off with 2. I'm only going to use about 2 tablespoons of this just because there's enough moisture already in that mixture. I don't want too much. We'll just see how that works out. And then the rest of our spices, which are going to be some Old Bay seasoning, some fresh garlic. I am going to add some salt. A little bit of Dijon mustard. About a teaspoon and a half. base seasoning, and a little bit of salt. And again, recipes, measurements will all be down below. We're going to give this a nice stir. We want to incorporate and get that flax egg, because that's our binder. And we want to get all that celery and onion. And again, you make it the way you like it. Again, I put extra celery because no matter how much celery I put in it, my husband's still going to say it needs more celery. And I think I'm actually going to, I normally wait and coat the outside just before we cook them with breadcrumbs. I'm using panko, but I'm actually going to add a little bit of panko to this because it is really wet. That was really good. So I don't want it to be as wet. I don't think I added my mayo either. I'm using about a half cup of mayo, and I'm going to add in some panko here just to absorb some of that wetness. And again, we're just tweaking the recipes, nothing. We're going to scoop these out, and then we're going to chill them before we cook them. So we want them to firm up, and it'll make them much easier to cook. And I'm probably going to end up using about half a cup of panko. But again, if you actually drained your hearts of palm butter and your jackfruit, I was just in a hurry. I'm hungry for crab cakes. We're also going to make a remoulade sauce for this. This is big in New Orleans. There, that's so much better. Okay, so we're going to have lots of crab cakes with this, which is perfect. All right. We're just going to move all this stuff over. Get rid of that. And then we're just going to use medium scoop. You make crab cakes any size you want. I like to make them like a medium size because I use them for different recipes, obviously. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop them out and then just pat them. And then we're going to chill them so that they're nice and firm before we put them in the air fryer. And just pat them down. Sorry, guys. Just pat them down. If you still find that your mixture is still too wet, again, once you chill them, they should be fine. But if you still find that they're still too wet, just add some more breadcrumbs. There we go. So every great crab cake needs a sauce of some sort, whether it be tartar or remoulade, and that's what we're making. So remoulade is like a great sauce that traditionally, I know it from New Orleans. So we're going to start in a bowl with some vegan mayo. I like the just mayo. That's what I use. Or it's alive today. Or you can use, I like the Hellmann's also. It seems to be easy to find. But there are so many different mayos out there. Just find the one that you like. Everybody has different taste buds. So to that, we're going to add a little bit of garlic. And I think I'm just going to cut back on the garlic there. We're going to add a little bit of Dijon mustard. about a teaspoon or so. We're going to add about 3 teaspoons of freshly squeezed lemon. I'm going to eyeball this. Feel free to and about 1/4 of a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. So this is a vegan one. The non-vegan ones have fish in them. This one is Annie's, but I do know that Whole Foods has a good one that's they're $3.65, I believe. But just always read the ingredients, because I know here in the States it is. I don't know about Canada, so or wherever you are. Just always make sure. And then we're going to add about 1.5 tablespoons of capers chopped up. These will add that great flavor. So this is really similar to tartar. All really the kind of same ingredients. So again, always putting stuff in front of me so you can't see. And we're just going to chop that up. And every great sauce just needs to chill. So this is going to chill along with our crab cakes. Those crab cakes do need to chill before you cook them so that they will solidify and hold their shape once we cook them. So we're going to let that go. We're just going to mix that all about. And some fresh parsley would be really good in this. I actually don't have any today, so sans the parsley today. But again, sometimes if you don't have one ingredient, don't let that stop you. You don't have to follow every recipe to the T. Make your own recipes. So I'm just going to check that out. I'm actually going to add a few more capers because I do love capers. And I'm not getting enough caper for me. I am going to add a touch more Dijon just to tone it down a little bit. You could add a little bit of onion powder to this if you wanted to. Add a little more garlic. Actually, I think I'm actually going to add garlic powder. Just because sometimes raw garlic is a little bit too strong for me. See how that works out. So I'll have the base recipe down below, and again, just play with it, guys. You could add celery seed to this. That would be really good too. Again, we're just kind of looking for a nice sauce for on top of our crab cakes. Now that is perfect. That is really good. I can't wait for these crab cakes, guys. So as soon as those finish chilling, we will get them cooked and plated and enjoyed. Okay, guys, so our crab cakes have chilled overnight, or you can do them, let them chill for a couple of hours, whatever. I just happen to chill ours overnight. And so what you're going to do is we're going to get some panko breadcrumbs. You could use regular breadcrumbs, whatever you want. I just like the ones that make them a little bit crispier. And we're going to do some in the air fryer and some on the griddle. You could use a frying pan. You could do them, now if you're not oil free, you could do them, oh, that's a little bit hot. You could do them in a frying pan with a little bit of oil. That will get you the best looking ones. They will be nice and brown and crispy. I'm not using oil, so we're not going to do that here. So that's going to take just a little bit longer to brown them. So you're going to want to take your crab cake and you're just going to want to dip them into your panko breadcrumbs or your regular breadcrumbs, whatever you're using. Just twirl them around and then add them to your flat top or your air fryer. Now, if you're using your air fryer, I did mine at about 400 degrees for about 10 minutes. I think you'd probably want to do them for about 12 minutes. It looked like they needed a couple more minutes. And again, you could do them without the breadcrumbs. Totally up to you. I just like that extra crunch on the outside. And it gives a nice contrast when you add the remoulade sauce to it. These are delicious, and it's funny because with the kelp, they actually, while they're cooking, they actually smell like crab. So these are definitely a winner. You do have to try these if you used to like crab or seafood, you're going to want to try these. Get these all on. You could also make them nice and tiny for hors d'oeuvres if you're doing like parties. Now that things are getting a little bit better here, they would be lovely, like bite size. There we go. And then we're just going to cook those. Just going to give them a few minutes. You just want them to brown. You don't really have to cook anything because we just have our hearts of palm and our jackfruit, mayo. So we really don't need to cook anything. We just want to brown them for aesthetics, heat them through, and it's just going to be a few minutes on each side. Okay, so we're just going to flip them. I would probably brown them some more. But again, so these are the ones that I did in the air fryer. So they're crispy on the outside. And I did those for about 12 minutes. Sorry. So it just depends. These will be a little bit more softer and tender. Totally depends on what you're looking for. Once they're the way you want them, I like to serve mine with some greens. And don't forget that remoulade sauce that we made. Just spoon that on top. And you're all set. Guys, give this one a try. It smells and is delicious. Let's give this a try. It tastes like crab cakes. This is such a great recipe. If you love crab, you have to give this a try. Absolutely. It is so delicious. And the remoulade sauce, tartar sauce, whatever you want to call it, it is absolutely delicious. Give it a try. Leave me some comments down below. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you in the next one.